Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day to watch the video. Much appreciated. Out here, the final morning of practice here at Lake Toho, Kissimmee. Gonna try to find some more areas, maybe find some bigger fish, see how that goes, and want to take a couple minutes before we get started here and give you today's tip. And today I want to talk about shell beds, how to fish them, how to find them, that type of stuff. Because there's a lot of shell beds are one of the top structures to fish. It doesn't matter where you're fishing. If you can find a shell bed, they're all over the country. There's a lot of them here in Florida. There's a lot of them back home where I'm at, Arkansas. River systems have it, down south, all the TVA lakes. And normally shell beds, if you can find them, they are a tournament winning type spot. You catch big bags of fish off of shell beds. In fact, I've almost won several tournaments here on Toho Kissimmee fishing shell beds. And it's just a big deal anytime that you can locate them. And I think a lot of people sort of get intimidated a little bit because when you're talking about shell beds, it's you can't just like go out. It's not like hitting a main lake point or something saying I'm going to fish some shell beds. You need to go out and you've got to look for these things. So that is the biggest, I guess the biggest obstacle or the biggest thing that holds people back from fishing shell beds is finding the things, because they're not everywhere and they vary in size. Back before we had side imaging and the advanced electronics, basically the only way you could find shell beds was you'd catch them on your hooks, because you can, if you're fishing any type of a bait, treble hook or single hook or anything like that, those mussels or the shells, the live ones, they will grab a hold of your bait, just like you saw in the thumbnail. That's one that yesterday I had one grab my Vibration X lipless crankbait, and so you'll get a combination of live ones, and you'll snag dead ones occasionally, like that are already opened up. That's the way we used to find them. So the biggest thing, as far as when you're looking to find them, and I don't want to go into it in this video because I'm not set up to show you guys, but just basically Google and try to find what shell beds look like on side imaging and electronics. And one of the best resources, Johnny Schultz, you can go to his Fish the Moment YouTube channel. He's got a lot of good examples of what shell beds look like on electronics. And the best electronics that you can, or the best deal as far as finding a shell bed, is a side imaging unit. And Johnny's got some great pictures will give you guys an idea what they look like. Like I said, there's a lot of good information. You can just Google what that is, but spend some time, getting familiar with what those things look like on your GPS. A lot of the times the mussel or the shells, they set up in positions that are either getting swept by current, a little bit out of the current, but a lot of times they're generally set up in some type of a current-oriented situation. So most of the time when you're fishing a shell bed, I have found in my own experience that they're in anywhere between 3 to 10 foot of water for the most part. And like I said, they vary in different sizes. And in my opinion, one of the biggest keys that you have to have for catching fish on a shell bed is some type of a current. Now that current can be a natural current or it can be a wind generated current, because wind will generate current as well, but it seems like you have to have some type of a current moving across those shell beds to get groups of fish moving up on them. And that's what you're looking for when you're fishing shell beds, guys. You're looking for big schools of fish. Shell beds are not like a one fish deal. I have sat on one spot and caught 50 making the same cast over and over again. They're one of the best areas that you can fish once you find them, to have big schools of fish move up on. A couple different techniques to use it. Probably my favorite technique to fish on a shell bed is a Carolina rig. A Carolina rig lizard, a Carolina rig straight-tailed worm, Carolina rig like a Zoom centipede, something like that, is difficult to beat. For whatever reason, they like that bait up off the bottom just a little bit. Any type of a crankbait can be good. Just something that'll knock those shells, some type of a medium running crankbait. And then also slow rolling a lipless crankbait will get you some really good bites. Just throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, and just sort of try to keep it like within a foot or so off the bottom. All those particular techniques will work. A shaky head will work real good. A lot of times in shells, guys, it's not necessarily the the bait that they key in on it, but you have to rotate the bait. If you find an active group of fish on a shell bed, sometimes I'll rotate through 10 different techniques, because since you're making the same cast over and over to these beds, a lot of times those fish will get conditioned to them. So I found out by mixing it up, going with your bigger power baits right off the bat, and then downsizing to like the drop shot or the shaky head or something like that, you can continue picking fish up on it. But it's one of the top deals out there, guys. It's something that takes some time to find. The shell beds that I have found have been completely by accident, because a lot of the ones that I found just fishing. I wasn't really looking for them. So that's one reason a lot of people don't do it. And there's getting to be some of your electronic units are starting to have, they're starting to show shell beds on areas, and that's another way to find it. But most of the time, if you see guys doing good in tournaments, a lot of times they have gotten some type of local information that there's a shell bed in a certain area, because it just takes so much time. It's not like these shell beds set up on drop-offs and real defined structure areas. They're just random. So anyway, it's just a few tips. If you guys find a shell bed, it might help you out catch a few more of them. I'm gonna get out here and try to catch some fish. I got a lot of fishing to do to find the type of fish that's going to take to win this tournament. So maybe it'll happen today. So we'll talk later. See you.